Hi, welcome to another episode of Built for More. I'm Jessica, this is Rocco, and today we're going to talk about how ego is the enemy.
So ego is the enemy. So tell me when you think this gets in the way, ego gets in the way for most people. Like in relation to either fitness, faith, relationships, like where do you think it gets in the way the most?
I mean, from where I am now, what I see is it's either from a place of insecurity, the lack of knowledge, or just from personal experience of having gone through something and then wanting a person to, do it that way because of what you've experienced and you know how it's going to turn out. So it's like one or the other.
Yeah, I think in my mind, I think it's probably insecurity is probably at least from where I see things, it's the bigger issue. I think ego shows up when people have insecurities or they lack the self-belief. Ego's almost like the armor they put out there to protect themselves. It's like, well, I know how to do this, or I'm going to do it this way, because they don't have. Cause I believe if you look at a confident person or someone that has very very deep self-belief, they're typically humble, right? They'll listen to people, they'll accept certain things, and the ego doesn't show itself so much. At least when I look at, so when I was younger, like my ego definitely, I'm not saying it doesn't come out now, but when I was younger, like I definitely lacked a lot of confidence, and I my ego was always getting in the way of stuff because it was the way I protected myself.
Where does your confidence come from now?
Experience. In my mind, I think, and that's the thing. Like I think one, you have to have self-belief, right? You have to believe in yourself. Like I don't know everything, I just know I'm really good at solving problems. But I also believe my confidence comes from just life experience. I'm 48, I'm gonna be 49 years old. Like I went through a lot in my life, so I've seen a lot of situations, I've been through a lot of things. So I think the more you do and the more you put yourself out there and get outside of your comfort zone, the more you build that confidence. I mean, where does your confidence come from?
Honestly, at this point in my life, it comes from the Lord, just because of my life experiences and what
I always have a better answer.
I didn't think this was a competition, but it's just the way my life has gone.
That was my ego getting in the way.
That might have been. That might have been.
Perfect
exactly.
Segue. Perfect segue. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. No, a lot of the experiences that I've been through over the course of my life since my early 20s, I've realized that each day goes on and I realize I know so much less than what I thought I did the day before, and that looking back on it, which is all I can do, is look back on, I realized how much, even more than in the moment, how much the Lord was getting me through and how He was showing up and what He was doing for all of those situations.
Let me ask a question. Can you go back to a time in your life where you know that your ego is getting in the way a ton, like a period of, I know for me, like a period of my life when my ego was getting in the way. Like, do you know a period of your life when you felt like that was when ego was getting in the way of everything?
Yes, there was an actual moment that I was literally reading my Bible. This was probably, it was 11 years ago. I believe it was in 2015. Okay. And so I'm sitting there. I remember where I was. Okay. I was in Alabama, and I was sitting on, reading my Bible, sitting there. And I was standing very firm because I thought that I was right in a situation with a relationship that was not, I had not really been speaking to the person. Okay. And I believed that at the moment, I thought I had done everything that I could. And as I'm reading my Bible now, I cannot remember the exact verse. I know it was in the New Testament, but I don't know what section it was. Immediately, I was very much so convicted that was not the case. And what I needed to do was very, very quickly, if not in that moment, like the next day, call the person, reach out, apologize, even though I didn't fully know in that time frame what I was apologizing for, but that was the only way to get past that, that rift that we had in the lack of communication. And I did, and it actually repaired the relationship. And that was something that was it's not fitness related, but in that moment, it was definitely that my ego was for sure getting in the way, because I genuinely believed that I was correct and that I had done everything I could, but the Lord had another way, and that was not the truth. And that's another thing I think sometimes we do need to also submit in situations that we believe that we are correct and that we are right in our action, but we need to submit and choose another path, as difficult as that is, for the longevity, to repair maybe the relationship or whatever is going on.
And how do you know when that moment happens? Like, how do you know when you're supposed to do
I
that?
mean, I think it's just individual. Each person, it's an individual thing that they have to come to that realization, depending on whatever, you know. I don't know. That's not something that you can really speak of, but I knew in that moment what I had to do, because sometimes that's the only way. And then it's also another area too, is just the belief, like having the belief in somebody. I've experienced that as well on both ends. When somebody's believed in me, it's like when they recognize an insecurity that I'm showing, you know, and I'm trying to cover it over. I think I'm so smart and I can cover this over. But then a person recognizes that, and instead of calling me out on it, it's like they kind of change it, and it's more of like having a belief in that insecurity that I'm showing.
Okay.
That almost is a way of also softening it, and I've experienced that in the past, and that is a massive work in progress, but I do try to do that. From time to time, it comes back to me whenever I am in the position of recognizing an insecurity in somebody else, to not call them out on that, saying like, oh, it's so obvious that you're insecure, you know, to kind of like, in my action, almost show more of a belief in them in that area, and that might over time kind of take hold. Kind of like with this, you know, we're in this position right now. We have the experience that we've gone through fitness for the last, you know, 20 years, and we both, in our own separate ways, man, woman, families, careers, all this stuff. So we have the experience of kind of like just continuing the consistency of it. But we're here because we believe in people, in the way like the world, just the fast-paced nature of like how things have become right now. You still can, you know, live a healthy lifestyle. There are still ways to do that. It's absolutely not too late. I'm not trying to like, you know, spin back to a previous topic, but
yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I agree.
You know, we believe that this is something that, you know, more people in our age can do, and that, you know, some of these things that we're talking about hit us very hard, and ego is one of them. So it's just a matter of kind of recognizing that and continuing to move on.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, you know, ego is something you have to, if you want to progress in life, you have to recognize when it's getting in the way and really try and remove it from the path. I think, but it's hard to do sometimes because it doesn't go away. I mean, it's part of human nature. You know, it's part of psychology. It's just part of human nature. The ego's always going to be there. It's just sometimes you have to be very quick to recognize when it's in the way and either sidestep it or move it out of the way. So, I think that's an important piece.
So what's up next?
Well, hopefully we'll get some clips of an outside workout we're going to try and do. So hopefully on the next segment you will see us doing something outside, hopefully not ego-driven, or hopefully our egos won't get in the way, but that will be the next clip, and we'll see you on that one.
Welcome to the next segment. Today, since it's nice out, we're going to do an outdoor workout.
And hopefully this is something that follow along with or get some tips from. We're just going to do some random stuff for probably about 30 minutes and see where this goes.
Ready?
So, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.